I signed for them after the Euros, and after my first day's training, I was driving home. I was actually thinking,
regretting it.
What have I done? Like I walked into a circus.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Right, all right. The deal or no deal for this Friday morning, as Owen said, just got a 9:45, and we're going to put on through his paces now and find out how legitimate he thinks some of these deals actually are. First of all, in the last 24 hours thereabouts, on a rapid acceleration in Manchester United's interest in Raul Jimenez from Wolves. He's now expected to actually move to Old Trafford. Apparently, as agreed to 27. Paulinho, I should say, has agreed to £27 million deal to join Wolves. That'll pave the way for Jimenez to leave. And staying in Manchester a couple of days ago, Daniel Harris, of course, friend of the show, tweeted to say that he understands that Jadon Sancho to Manchester United is close. This is one that's been on and off over the last number of months. Club have agreed to €60 million up front, 60 million in instalments after that. And all's been negotiated. It does, of course, Owen, obviously leave the question of what Manchester United are going to do with all these forward players. So Martial, Rashford, Greenwood, Sancho and Jimenez. What gives?
It's interesting that Jimenez is the sort of attacker that they've elected to sign, if this story is to be believed. First of all, I think a legitimacy rating on this one of 5. I'm not having this one fully. I think that Sancho, we gave that about a legitimacy rating of, 8 earlier this week. I can't remember what Phil gave it, but it looks like it's going to happen. They don't really need any more beyond that.
Yeah.
Like, if you're looking for an attacker at the moment for Manchester United, you're looking for an attacker who can play on the left of a front three. If we're basing this purely on form, Marcus Rashford has been the man who has been in the worst form of that Manchester United attack. Now, Jadon Sancho, certainly, speaking personally, when I saw him coming to Manchester United, I thought, right, Jadon Sancho will play on the right of that front three. He has played on the left, and he has been outstanding on the left whenever he's played there. And I wonder if that's actually where he is going to play, and that it might actually be a battle between Rashford and Martial for the centre spot, and that the other person may actually get shunted out to the right for a battle with Mason Greenwood. That I actually think that they're quite well stacked in the middle, because I think they may have a battle internally for that jersey. I think Greenwood as well will be in with a shout for that jersey as well. Like, if you're talking purely on form, the person who is under most threat in that front three at the moment is Marcus Rashford. You would assume that things will level out as the next season resumes, and he will come back to his previous greatness, because his sustained start to his career was outstanding. Mentally, he is all there. He's so mature, but he has underperformed after the restart this season. So Martial's been brilliant, Greenwood's been brilliant. Who do you play alongside them if you were picking a team tomorrow? You'd love to have Sancho on the left of a three. They don't need Jimenez, and I'm giving that a legitimacy rating of only 5. Despite the fact that, as you say, Paulinho, he's gone to Wolves. He's been brilliant for Braga all year. A very, very similar replacement to Jimenez. Jimenez, I want to say, took a little bit of time to get going. Obviously was on loan last season. Outside of Bruno Fernandes, this signing of the season this year for any Premier League club, I think, when they got him permanently, I think they'd be stupid to let him go, first of all. But if they are, and if this story is to be believed, then Paulinho seems a good replacement.
All right, we'll see how it all plays out. Rashford is the one that obviously is just an interesting one that, as you say, Martial probably has the edge at the minute, and you wonder from Marcus Rashford's point of view, you know, if he's lower down the pecking order, does he hang around? You know what I mean? He's been in that position before, and now suddenly they're bringing in a couple more forward options.
Yeah.
And just maybe Rashford decides that, listen, I'm going to go somewhere that I'm going to get football.
Well, here's the thing. At the start of the season, certainly from the start of the middle third of the season, there was the debate about this, about whether or not the best version of Manchester United's attack is Martial through the middle or Rashford through the left. And there was a sense of appeasing Anthony Martial by playing him through the middle. He wasn't happy when he was playing out wide. And personally, I thought it was actually kind of weak management at the time, giving way to Martial and putting him in the middle. That was quickly proven wrong, especially after the restart, with how good Martial has been. But I wonder, privately, had there been a conversation with Marcus Rashford saying, are you happy to actually be shunted out to the left because we might get the best out of Anthony Martial? And Rashford goes, yeah, that's fine. And inadvertently, he shot himself in the foot with his own personal progression at Manchester United, because I think Rashford through the middle is quite a weapon. You've mentioned it there as well. I think that there is a battle for form when it comes to Rashford, but he's got his off-season now. My suspicion is that he will come back to how good he has been previously, and this is a blip rather than the norm.
And also other news from Manchester. The Manchester News reporting that Inter are close to a permanent deal. This will be a huge relief for United fans, for Alexis Sanchez to finally get off their books for good. He's completed a season-long loan deal, so we'll monitor that as we progress. Big one for you here, Owen. Sit tight. As Manchester United make all those moves, it seems like Arsenal have become the dark horses to lure Jack Grealish away from Aston Villa. It's according to Sky Sports News sources, which has become its own TV channel. They report that the Gunners registered their interest in the club's captain. I mean, this has got an Arsenal move all over it, hasn't it? About
No, it
a player
doesn't.
that everybody's totally unsure of. He may be the greatest thing since sliced bread, and he may end up being Jack Wilshere. We're just not 100% sure exactly what direction his career is going to take place. Is he the world's greatest player? And we just haven't got to see that because he's in an underperforming team, or is he actually just made to be the latest Arsenal flop on?
Manchester United would be a perfect signing for Jack. This is the Manchester United signing. I don't know where you're getting the Arsenal trend here.
Legitimacy rating of him joining Arsenal.
3. Arsenal haven't really gone out to sign the best young English kid who's already established. They tend to bring them up through their own ranks. Like the last time, I'm just trying to think here, where they actually splashed out and got involved in a bidding war for even a British youngster who ended up coming to Arsenal was probably Aaron Ramsey when Manchester United were coming. Like I'm not sure where you're getting it from, that this is a typical Arsenal signing. I presume you're talking about the perceived mentality of Jack Grealish, where
all the indicators are there that this is like the most Arsenal signing of all time
because of how he behaves off the pitch.
Because we're not sure about him. Like, is the point, right? Like, still at the end of the season, people are like, when Jack Grealish is coming in and out of games and is not necessarily yet living up to the hype. Maybe this is all to do with the fact that he's playing for a team that are just a shocking team and it's impossible to look good. Maybe that's what it is. But what I'm saying is that it's got an Arsenal signing all over it, because they end up bringing him in and he ends up actually proving to be not the player everybody thought he was.
No, you're getting this all wrong. You're basing this on the Unai Emery / end of Arsene Wenger era Arsenal decision. Like, have you listened to Mikel Arteta speak? He is Pep Guardiola, but with hair. Would Pep Guardiola sign Jack Grealish? No, he would not. There's your answer. Mikel Arteta would not stand for Jack Grealish.
Yeah,
and I sometimes feel that
Pep Guardiola wouldn't sign Jack Grealish because he's got uber millions to do whatever the hell he wants, and
True.
It's not the budget that Arteta has.
But I think it's also to do with discipline. To be honest, just for the record here, I think the media have been a little bit harsh. Not the media in general. I think maybe the tabloid coverage in the UK has been a little bit harsh of Jack Grealish at times. He's obviously made big mistakes, and maybe we are using that as a stick to beat him with when it comes to his own professionalism. Now, you may say that's fair enough. I think that if there is any bit of a doubt about that element of his commitment, then he will not go to Arsenal. And I think actually a 3 in the legitimacy rating might be generous on that front. There is no way
what's going to happen is he's going to join Arsenal.
No,
he's going to join Arsenal. He's going to get back on the hippie crack. He's going to himself and Guendouzi, who will still be at the club from the start of next season, was it Lacazette, are going to be training with the under-21s, and they'll be the best under-21 team on the planet. Yeah, the
under-23, they're okay at the moment. Like, I mean, he's already been stung by Guendouzi. He's going to get rid of him. The Mesut Ozil situation is a terrible, terrible, terrible thing. And that, like, I see news that he may be hanging around for another year, which is obviously terrible in itself. They can't be having this sort of gamble where they're taking a risk on a player who doesn't have an outstanding commitment to the cause, or even if it's a perception. I think that's enough for Arsenal to completely shelve this and don't look at it whatsoever. The most important piece of business they can do in that position this year would be to sell Mesut Ozil, but that's not going to happen. But it's also to keep Dani Ceballos and ensure that he stays at the club, and he is interested. Like, even as the sort of player that Jack Grealish is, does he fit into that Arsenal system? I'm not sure he does. Like, for me, Jack Grealish will thrive in a 4-2-3-1 formation. Arsenal have played it at times this season with Joe Willock sitting behind a striker. That would be the position for Jack Grealish, but I'm not sure if Arsenal are actually going to play that, because I think they're much better playing a 3-4-3. Jack Grealish, if he's going to go somewhere, I think Tottenham are top of the list, because they have played that formation. They've had a huge interest in the player down through the years, and maybe Jose Mourinho will think to himself, I kind of like this character who I can mould into my own team. He look at it from an opposite way.
No, he's not a Jose Mourinho player. A guy who flits in and out of games like that he's not a Jose Mourinho player. He's going to end up doing a Gareth Bale on it with
he fits in and out of
no
games
time at all.
because he plays for Aston Villa. I think he genuinely is.
And you think
talent.
playing for Spurs is that this is the solution for that? I mean, I think legitimately rating of his potential move to Arsenal, I'm going to put it like a 9 out of 10. He's it's nearly nailed on that he's destined to go there and be a flop.
Talking nonsense.
At a flop team. You mentioned Ozil and a 10% chance on that he gets a contract extension.
No, 0%. Why would you 0%. Give Mesut Ozil a contract extension? Where are you getting 10% from?
Just throwing it at you, just like plucking that one.
That would be the stupidest management move of the Arsenal hierarchy ever, and that is saying something.
We had some actual transfer business yesterday with Bournemouth accepting a 41 million quid bid from Man City for Nathan Ake. John Giles on last night said that Ake's a good player, but not a great player. And Pep needs great players. Is he right?
He is. He's not a great player at the moment, but again, he's been in Bournemouth shambles for the season that's been. So I think that is a bit harsh to judge any defender. It's interesting how we're getting into the minutiae of how accomplished a player is with which side of their body, especially when it comes to defenders over recent times. Like Jamie Carragher last night on Twitter saying, I like Nathan Ake and think he will suit Man City, but with Laporte a guaranteed starter, I'm not convinced two left-footed centre-backs works. I know right-footed players play together, but it never feels right the other way around to me. So it begs the question, if we take that into account, what are Chelsea doing when they have the buyback option? Kurt Zouma, right-footed. Rudiger, right-footed. Does Nathan Ake fit with either of them if they play a back four? Potentially he does. And with Chelsea in pole position to land this transfer, you'd wonder if they're sitting on their hands a little bit too much, considering they're splashing the cash on Timo Werner and are set to do so potentially on Kai Havertz as well, and have done so on Ziyech already. I think that this is a miss by Chelsea if they don't get in on Nathan Ake, but it looks like Manchester City have zoomed in front of them and have actually gazumped them on this front. John Giles is right that he's not a great player yet, but he's destined to become one with the right management. Now, Pep Guardiola has failed with accomplished defenders in the past, John Stones notably, or he has failed to turn decent defenders into great defenders. We thought John Stones was on that trajectory under Pep. Didn't happen. Same thing could easily happen with Nathan Ake.
It's farcical. That's deal or no deal.
I signed for them after the Euros, and after my first day's training, I was driving home. I was actually thinking,
regretting it.
What have I done? Like I walked into a circus.
It's amazing, isn't it?